Welcome to yet another war crime simulator by Taito. And now, for some music. Wow, that went at least 3 times longer than it needed to. Alright, so this is OVG Fighters, an Xbox 360 exclusive sequel to the 2 Energy Air Force games from the PlayStation 2. And that's the best way to build a brand, right? Change both the name and the platform. Let's start a new game. There are 3 difficulty modes, and Hell is only unlocked because I've already beaten the game on Expert. However, Hell is a gimmick mode. You're only allowed to use one plane, and you fly through a cut-down, worst of version of the campaign. It's really hard, really stupid, so let's not do it. Expert is the game's normal mode, there's nothing special about it, and it's perfectly fine for a playthrough until you hit about 80% of the campaign, at which point all hell breaks loose. Which brings us to Beginner. The main feature of this mode is that your plane regenerates spent missiles in the air. So let's go with this one, because nobody wants to see me land 4 times per mission to rearm. Okay, let's create a new save file. I do have an old one here, which is in the middle of a New Game Plus run, because some planes in this game are only unlocked when you play New Game Plus. And here I discovered that the naming system in this game is somehow worse than it was in Energy Air Force Aim Strike on the PS2. Yeah, back then, I was able to name our pilot D. Goons. And the dumbest thing is, this name is probably just for the multiplayer, because in the campaign, the game's text keep referring to you as player. Oh, how original. Are you shitting me? The labels on these cards should be swapped. Reverse is normal for planes. Normal is the reverse. And here's the menu. I really like its design in this game because it looks like a newspaper front page. They even try to include some help text in the articles under these pictures of things flying and exploding. In addition to normal and reverse controls, there are other settings which allow you to simplify this game for people who can't stand flight simulators. You can let the game pick weapons and use countermeasures for you, but I'm going to let the game land for me. Actually, this is only relevant for the expert difficulty where you need to land to rearm. For the rest of the game, there are only 2 missions where you need to land. They're both training missions, and they force you to do a manual landing in any case. Notice how it says distance in meters. Everything else is probably going to remain Imperial. Here, the people who hate situational awareness can turn off various bits of the game's interface. The control settings are here in case you change your mind about reversing the controls. Most of the help on how to fly the plane comes in loading screens, not here. The real big question about the sound is how loud you want the music to be. No, seriously, tell me at the end of the video, because it's like sand, it's annoying and it gets everywhere. Alright, we've done enough initial setup, let's go and fly something. Challenge mode? No, we want to see the low-budget story. Although, wait a second. Who wrote this text? Restricted Arena Battle. Where the fuck did they even find a program that can't do basic line breaks in 2006? And it's actually in every bit of text. Yeah, every bit of text in this game that's not read out loud by a person is really weird. But anyway, we're 6 minutes into the video, it's time to actually fly something and blow shit up. Let's do it.
Unidentified aircraft are currently heading towards the site. Gentlemen, your mission is to intercept the unidentified aircraft before they enter the airspace in question. That is all. Switching communications. Gargoyle 1 clear to launch.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about hitting my wing on this thing. Oh, thank you, it's going down. Wait, are those F-15s on the deck?
Gargoyle is airborne. We have bogies inbound to the UN? Well, somebody sure wants attention. Committing against target now. I've got two. Cerberus, bogey spike. Candid, hostile. Copy, Cerberus. Gargoyle 1, don't freeze up on me out there. Gargoyle 1, Fox 1.
So we're shooting down an Il-76.
Damn it!
A transport plane and very much unarmed. As you see in the lower left corner, the second one is running away, but let's kill it anyway.
Don't worry about me, pal. Just pay attention to what you're doing.
The fuck are you doing? Yes, you do die if you collide with your wingman.
Gargoyle 1, Fox 3. Gargoyle, bandit confirmed splashed. Piece of cake. I've got two. Gargoyle, new contact. Single group. Gargoyle, copy, Cerberus.
Now we're killing an A-50 unarmed flying radar.
Time to teach these bozos a lesson. I've got two. Gargoyle, new contact. Single group. Copy, Cerberus.
And 2 Tu-160s, which makes it 1/8 of the entire operational fleet of these bombers.
All right, nice kill. Gargoyle, we confirm the kills. Wow, nice shooting. Gargoyle, clean sweep. No targets remaining. Mission accomplished. Return to base immediately.
So that was the mission, and here are the results. We get some points for the kills and for not taking damage against unarmed enemies.
The unidentified aircraft were downed over the sea in front of the conference building. The mission was a success thanks to Gargoyle's scramble. Thanks for your efforts. That is all.
Just like you learned in practice, eh? Well, your first time out, you did all right. But don't get too cocky. A real fight is dead serious business.
And here are the RPG stats, which determine how well a character resists G-forces, how far he can see, how accurate his missiles are, and how inaccurate the enemy's missiles are, and how mental we are. As you see, our wingman is 3 times as mental. And now, the replay mode. Yes, after you complete a mission, you're thrown into this recap of all the things you've just done, and, well, they are set to this terrible music, but you have a selection of, I think, 4 tracks. Yeah. You can fast forward, or you can skip this replay altogether, which is what I'm going to be doing unless something really stupid happens. So which of these tracks suit killing defenseless people best? Okay, let's keep it on this one. For our first kill, we'll be using an AIM-7 Sparrow, a semi-active radar homing missile. It wants its target to be painted for it by the carrier plane's radar. And this one was killed by a Sidewinder, a rather small heat-seeking missile, which was designed to take out enemy planes' engines, but here it just makes the Il-76 pop. And for the last kills, I was using the most expensive missiles the F-14 can carry, the AIM-54 Phoenix. It has an active radar seeker, it can fly long distances, it can drop onto the enemy from high in the sky. Here I'm using it to take some planes which were somehow missed by ground-based air defenses. And so, in the prologue mission, we were attacked by a number of Russian-made planes, including some which have never been exported. Naturally, our next step is to bomb Central Africa. I guess they need to tell the press they're bombing someone in retaliation?
Before we begin the briefing, Chairman Etu of the Federation Establishment Committee would like to speak to you. Chairman, if you please.
Members of the EAF, as chairman, please allow me to thank you for your tireless service.
What, so we're flying off skids now? Oh, that kind of tireless, sorry.
A world united as one, and the everlasting peace that would result. This is our cherished hope, no, our obligation. The sad truth is, however, that factions exist who do not want to see those obligations realized.
Heretics.
If their evil propagates, the world will be doomed to repeat its mistakes, and history will be rewritten with the pen of anarchy. You, the EAF, Guardians of Peace and Unification, were created to crush their evil. We are counting on you.
To begin, I'll outline the situation in the zone of operation. We have intelligence that the enemy is stockpiling an enormous amount of a wide variety of weaponry in multiple facilities.
Do you really, or are you just saying it?
Fortunately, these facilities are located deep in a hilly region far from any urban areas. We should be able to keep civilian casualties low.
Not avoid, keep low.
Our primary mission is to destroy enemy military facilities and weapons factories. I want you all to give it everything you've got.
Alright, so we finally made it to the mission selection. But for now, I think we should try and do that one strange training mission. There are only 2 of them in the game.
Well, it seems like we're all here. This time it's training. I'm gonna observe your flight from the ground-based takeoff to landing. After taxi and takeoff, circle the base perimeter and come in for a land. I'll see how well you've been training, and then evaluate your flight skills. Your launch time is 0900 hours. Stay sharp at all times.
Well, that sounds encouraging. Let's pick our aircraft out of a choice of 1. And we've got this really lovely loadout selection screen where we can see missiles as they're being hung onto the plane, and we can rotate the model and everything. Unfortunately, even though the developers have given us all this variety of options, there is no way to save your custom loadout. So if you like a particular choice of missiles, you'll have to keep selecting it for every mission manually. And like in a big simulator, you're allowed to reduce the amount of fuel you're carrying, which is always a good idea actually. It's not like we've had to fly long distance so far, and this does reduce your weight, in theory. Oh wow, they managed to fuck up and translated climb and dive as rise and descent. You can see there was a lot of effort put into localizing this. Did he blow me a kiss? Was that regular service or am I paying extra for that?
Gargoyle, clear detector. Check altimeter. Hold short of runway.
Oh, we're on a timer. Okay, let's increase the throttle. And by the way, in this game, when you press the throttle buttons, you do move the sort of virtual throttle lever, as opposed to Ace Combat, where if you press accelerate, you just boost from the default speed, and when you press brake, you slow down. Now in this game you are adjusting your throttle. Oh, and before anyone complains about my driving style, when you're driving a plane on the ground, you don't turn it by turning the front wheel. You turn it by adjusting the brake pressure on the right and left gear legs. So it's a bit more complicated. Yeah, that's my excuse. Man, why do I have this unrealistic helmet-mounted display? This is not what an F-14 is supposed to have. Let's see if I can find the button that's responsible for changing the camera. Meanwhile, have you noticed how the game never told me where I'm supposed to taxi? Yeah, it does that. Oh, finally. I think I should start preparing to turn. Oh, this is the correct view, by the way. I wonder if there's a collision box on that. Oh, we rejected. They're going to give us a new plane. So this has been the first death of the playthrough. Quite special, I gotta say. Yeah, I think the track called Destination is going to be perfect for this. Hey, come on, see, this wasn't too bad, just a sailor on dry land, you know how it is. This is a Navy plane after all. Funny thing, but it is possible to take off of this taxiway. You can also skip all the taxiing with the press of a button, but who does that? It's just occurred to me that OVG Fighters doesn't have any kind of damaged models or wrecks. Things just disappear and an explosion pops up in their place.
Gargoyle, clear to taxi. Check altimeter. Hold short of runway.
Okay, I'll do it properly this time. So, this is a sequel to Energy Air Force Aim Strike, a game I've let's played ages ago now. But before that, there was my first let's play of Strike Fighters 2 same series, which is viewable on the LP archive, not on YouTube directly, because it's a mess and it's a combination of text, screenshots and videos. But the cool thing about the Strike Fighters 2 was that janky as it is, it's still a pretty interesting window into about 40 years of combat aircraft development. Like, from the tail end of World War II, the early jets, to the F-16. Along the way you see all kinds of terrible radar designs, early missiles which couldn't home in on shit, and of course planes which were definitely not a good idea even when they first appeared. But you know, you gotta win those contracts, you gotta be the lowest bidder, and you gotta be fast. And the second Energy Air Force game, Aim Strike, kinda picks up exactly where Strike Fighters 2 left off, at the F-16, and it goes all the way to the F-35. OVG Fighters also stops at the F-35, but at least it has other non-American planes, such as Japanese, Russian, and Swedish. I believe we're just about ready to take off.
Gargoyle, clear for Sierra Hotel departure. Climb and maintain Angels 3. Switch departure 297.6.
Alright, let's increase the throttle to 103%. Anything above 100 engages the afterburner. And we're off. Let's see what a D-pad does. No, I don't think I need an arrestor hook at this moment. And definitely not the brakes. Hey, what the fuck was that? So yeah, even for the tutorial, they do not let you fly in a circle around the airfield. This is so hand-holdy. The tutorial in the original Energy Air Force was more involved than this one.
Gargoyle, clear to land. Winds light and variable.
Oh, nice. They've either got the exact same voice actors, or they're recycling voice samples from the previous game.
What are you doing?
I'm stalling? Shit, I'm stalling. Okay, crisis averted. Okay, so how are you supposed to land properly with all this computerized shit going on the screen? Well, first of all, you've got the cross from the landing system, the ILS, on the screen, and you're supposed to keep that centered. Secondly, on the left, you can see the Christmas tree. It shows you whether your nose is pitching too far up or down, or whether it's just right, in which case it glows green. You want it to be green. And another thing you need to manage, which nobody is going to help you with, is the speed. If you come in too fast, your landing gear may burst, break apart, or you may bounce off the ground. And if you come in too slow, well, you've just seen what happens when you're too slow. And mind, we're flying the F-14. It has a variable wing sweep system, so at the moment, at low speed, the wings are almost completely straight, which makes the plane much more controllable, and generally more behaved at low speed. So, we're pretty good.
What are you doing?
Fuck, speed. Yeah, no, we're not going to watch a replay of that. We're just going to hop straight into a rerun, skip the taxiing, skip the introduction, just go straight to the takeoff, and do this right. Don't worry, this is not going to take all day. We're actually going to complete 3 combat missions today, before the end of the video. I wonder, can I use the gun in the tutorial mission? Let's see. I can, so what happens if I strafe those parked planes? Hey, why did you kick me into landing mode? Bastards. No, I'm not wasting ammo. It's going to hit something.
Gargoyle clear to land. Winds light and variable.
Okay, I'm going to do it properly this time. I mean properly within the limits of this game's flight engine, not realistically properly. In any case, this is the easy training mission. The other training mission is a carrier landing. See? Everything is fine. I'm not going too fast, I'm not veering to the side, I'm not flying over the runway. Everything is perfectly fine. While this is going on, I should probably mention that this game tries to combine arena-based missions of the original Energy Air Force, where you fly in with like 4 missiles and shoot down 2 targets, and that's it, that's the mission. And missions of Energy Air Force Aim Strike, where you had to fly long distance.
Stay high.
You have to be this high to fly. Anyway, OVG also has missions like Aim Strike, where you fly for 5 minutes to shoot down 2 planes or take out 2 buildings. See? We're fine. Landing successful. Although I still need to stop. You know, there are people who applaud pilots when they land, but they start applauding when the plane touches the ground, not when it stops, which is very premature in my experience of reading about airliner disasters. Okay, I've got points for landing and I suppose ironic points for not taking damage. Unfortunately, there isn't a menu option to just completely disable replays. You have to load into one every time you finish a mission. It's time to pick one of the combat missions and see what the real war in OVG Fighters is like. You often get a choice of several green missions in OVG, but you can only pick one of them. The other 2 in this case are going to become unavailable until the next playthrough.
Here's your next mission. Unidentified aircraft have been confirmed approaching Allied military airspace. Gargoyle, intercept immediately. Do not allow them to enter that airspace. If they do not heed our warnings, we will authorize engagement. Your launch time is 1000 hours. I wish you success and a safe return.
Sorry, that enemy plane was a C-130, it's a transport plane. Here is our choice of wingmen, who are far more experienced than we are. And they seem to have some plane preferences, but I'm not sure whether it affects anything.
Hey, you've got great taste in planes. You and I think alike, kid. All right, let's get going.
Just for the sake of giving the enemy some chance to save themselves, I'm going to replace the AIM-9M Sidewinder with a slightly older AIM-9Ls. By the way, OVG does absolutely fuck all to explain to a new player the differences between the different modifications of the same missile. They hope you know all of this already. And the whole idea of giving the player slightly obsolete missiles is kinda strange. It's not like we have a budget we need to work under. And this is a tutorial for the magic radar. The game never explains how it works in an actual in-game environment. Okay, we're shooting down 2 bombers this time.
Air targets, these suckers are going down. Gargoyle 1, splash 1. That's right, you saw that, didn't ya? Gargoyle 1, splash 1.
The green planes are not the targets. You could leave them be, but they're usually escorts and they can blow you up.
I've got two.
There is a camera lock function, by the way.
Gargoyle 1, Fox 3. Gargoyle, clean sweep. No targets remaining. Mission accomplished. Head home immediately.
Let's see how long this mission lasted. There should be a timer somewhere here. Oh yeah, 44 seconds. The back of the box of OG Fighters advertises that this game has more than 75 missions. You can see how that number was achieved, can't you? At least we can now ditch the F-14 and fly a few missions on the F-16C, which has just unlocked. Let's pick the one green mission that is the most different, the one that's got ground targets instead of the airborne ones.
I'll now brief you on your next mission. We've confirmed the approach of ground vehicles to the enemy's base. We believe this to be a transport unit carrying replenishment supplies. Gargoyle, intercept immediately. Hit that transport unit. If we cut off those supplies, the enemy's combat ability will be crippled. Your launch time is 1,500 hours. That is all. We're counting on you.
And here the game tells you, F-14 bad. Because it doesn't have any air-to-ground weapons, well, apart from the gun. So let's go with the F-16. Luckily, any mission you complete from the previous batch unlocks the F-16, so it's not like you're going to run into this without having anything to blow those trucks up.
I suppose. Okay, this one will do just fine.
I can barely hear her over the music. Right, so I'm doing the usual song and dance with the air-to-air missiles, but as for the air-to-ground ones, we've got 2 bundles of AGM-65 Mavericks, electro-optically guided. They were designed to destroy tanks, but they should work pretty well against unarmored trucks. The game has a broad choice of bombs for some reason, so I'm going to replace my regular guided bombs with guided cluster bombs. Which is a bit strange, because cluster bombs are banned by the United Nations. Well, okay, the United States, Russia and China did not sign that agreement, they're not a part of it, but we are flying for the United Nations, right? Actually, Wiki tells me the US was planning to regulate these cluster bombs, until they found out it was impossible to manufacture one with a less than 1% failure rate. So each of those CBUs 103s I'm carrying is going to leave, at least 2 unexploded bomblets in the ground. At least they're not airdropped mines colored like children's toys. I got radar warning. I don't think they're happy to see me here.
Gargoyle 2, Fox 3. Gargoyle 1, test dead ahead.
Yeah, I've got an enemy plane painting me with its radar, but let's hope it's too busy picking its nose or something.
He's firing! Get out of there!
Flare! Stop flare! Stop flare! Stop flare!
It's too late for stalling now.
Did I get hit? I don't think I got hit. Usually when you get hit in this game you die, or your engine gets damaged and can't go above 87%.
Okay, I've got you.
Okay, one last truck to kill and we'll be good to go. What, enemy planes in the air? Never mind them. Kill the targets and you're free to go.
Gargoyle, clean sweep. No targets remaining. Mission accomplished. Head home immediately.
Oh wow, a 1-minute mission. Incredible. Unfortunately here I decided to skip the replay, so we won't know how exactly I dodged that missile even though it was coming right up my tail. If you're feeling adventurous, you could try reading this text. I never have. Oh, what's this? A naval mission? Let's check it out. I'll just check whether this is the mission I want. I'll explain later.
Here's the mission briefing. Unidentified vessels have been confirmed along the fleet's present course. These could be enemy battle cruisers. Gargoyle, intercept immediately and destroy the target. We can't let the enemy know our present battle strength. Your launch time is 0730 hours. That is all. Stay sharp and focused.
Let's pick the next guy on the list.
Not a bad choice. This aircraft will suffice. Now, let us get going.
For our anti-ship mission, the game automatically loads us with the AGM-84L Harpoon, which is a radar-guided missile, I believe. I'm going to swap one of them for the AGM-84H, which is supposed to be a very long-range missile with, like, inertial guidance, maybe GPS guidance. It's supposed to be able to arrive at the coordinates of its target after flying, a very long distance. It's called Slammer because I think the original was called a SLAM, and ER stands for Extended Range or something. Ah yes, fire missile with shoot, that's what all pilots learn. Today we're being intercepted by two Yak-141s.
Gargoyle 2, Fox 3.
It's a great honor because only two of those planes ever flew.
Targets confirmed dead. Engaging ground target.
What do you mean ground target?
I am Ghost Storm.
Okay, the Slammer does have a slightly longer range than the Harpoon. And by that I mean you can fire it about 5 seconds earlier. It's not a big difference when everything is so scaled down. Still, I managed to fire off both missiles without being attacked by the air defenses, and that's pretty good.
Gargoyle, clean sweep. No targets remaining. Mission accomplished. Head home immediately.
Ah, this. Had I picked the other green mission when I was given the choice, we would not have unlocked the FA-18. The plane would have been unavailable until... what? Yeah, the second playthrough. Does the game warn you about this? No, never. Why would it need to? Okay, fuck this music. By the way, whenever you unlock a plane, that's when you get an achievement in this game. So, I guess their plan was to make the player go through the campaign at least 3 times, and then maybe complete the Hell mode, and then grind for the boss planes in the challenge mode. I think we've seen enough. That was a really ugly ship and we've done them a service destroying it. Still, I wonder who could be attacking the United Nations with all these experimental Russian planes. It's a mystery. I guess we need to bomb Africa some more. I'm not going to do the yellow tactical mission today, because I think there may be another one like that after it. And after that there's definitely a big scary red strategic mission. Instead, let's go and see the challenge mode. There are 2 modes here. One is the arena from the original Energy Air Force, and it's all about killing waves of enemy planes and maybe a boss whenever they decide to spawn. And the other one is a dogfight creator. The choice of flyable units is limited by what you've unlocked in the campaign, and as for the enemies, maybe also unlocked as you progress. But you can pick a fight not just against enemy planes, but also against a group of ground units or a ship. This is a fairly common feature for flight simulators, less so for more arcadey games like Ace Combat. This is just a test run, but with some imagination you can design some really stupid engagements. Unfortunately, you cannot make airborne ground units. That would have been fun, but no, doesn't work. Okay, is it going to put up any fight? In case you don't know, this terrible buzzing indicates that my heat-seeking missile has locked onto its target. And this sound's origin story is that of a cheap hack turned into a primary feature. Well, that wasn't much of a fight. Hold on, does that stat screen mean I can still get experience points from fighting these missions? That's interesting. Oh, I know some people are going to ask, but the mental stat, according to the manual, is your mental resilience, which shows how fast your character can recover after taking damage. Which is strange, because usually it's the plane that takes damage, and it tends to explode after being hit. So, I don't know what it does. Next time we'll finish the conquest of Central Africa and see the harder missions of OVG fighters. You know, the ones that may take 2 minutes to beat, or who knows, maybe even 3 minutes.